We're going to read a bit of the Bill of Rights with writings that formed its foundation. The Bill of Rights. These amendments came into effect on December 15th, 1791, when ratified by 3/4 of the states. The Bill of Rights is the collective name for the first 10 amendments to the United States Constitution. While the Constitution provides guidance and regulations to matters relating to government and legislation, it does not address certain more personal matters. The Bill of Rights takes up questions left behind by Congress and acknowledges in some detail rights and freedoms that every American citizen enjoys. In the 1780s, the proposed Constitution was a subject of dramatic debate. Many prominent Americans found it sorely needed. Others felt the notion too far in the wrong direction. The Federalists held that the Constitution was needed to strengthen the federal government, arguing hotly with the anti-Federalists, who felt that a strong federal government was not a good idea and would in fact be a threat to the American citizenry, which had just fought so hard for freedom from England. The anti-Federalists proposed. Let's go back a little. The anti-Federalist position was the original Articles of Confederation, as drafted and signed in 1781, were sufficient, a notion the Federalists dismissed on the basis of their failure to serve the country effectively during the Revolutionary War. Under a pseudonym, 3 American statesmen, Alexander Hamilton, James Madison, and John Jay, published the letters in New York City papers explaining precisely why the Constitution should be ratified and what it should offer the American citizen. The letters were published in a book form from 1788 under the title The Federalist. Responses written anonymously by noted figures including Patrick Henry and Robert Yates, and published under a number of pseudonyms, were also printed in New York City newspapers. These became known as the Anti-Federalist Papers and were collected into the book, the Anti-Federalist Papers. The United States Constitution was ratified in March of 1789, and in June of that year, James Madison presented his peers in Congress his suggested Bill of Rights, a document created to lend support and to elaborate upon the Constitution. He took inspiration from many sources, including the English Magna Carta, 1215, and the Bill of Rights, 1689, the Virginia Declaration of Rights, 1776, and writings from the European Age of Enlightenment. Notably, in the works of John Locke, he offered his ideas deliberately, explaining that those who opposed the Constitution did so because they feared that the Constitution, in giving government certain strengths, would remove rights and strengths of American citizens. And while that sacrificing some rights would create a much stronger nation in political and military terms, a series of compromises and securities would be built into the Bill of Rights so that both sides of the argument would be satisfied. The members of the argument, let's go ahead and redo that sentence. The members of Congress joined Madison in reworking his Bill of Rights, modifying some of Madison's proposals, and adding and subtracting others. The Bill of Rights, as originally passed by Congress in September 1791 and ratified in December 1791, was designed originally to apply exclusively to federal government, but it eventually would apply to state and local government as well. The preamble to the Bill of Rights, Congress of the United States, begun and held at the city of New York on Wednesday, the 4th of March, 1789. The conventions of a number of the states, having at the time of their adopting the Constitution, expressed a desire, in order to prevent misconstruction or abuse of its powers, that further declaratory and restrictive clauses should be added, as extending the ground of public confidence in the government will best ensure the ends of its institution. Resolved by the State and House of Representatives, the United States of America, in Congress assembled 2/3 of both houses concurring, that the following articles be proposed to legislators of several states, as amendments to the Constitution of the United States, all or any of which articles, when ratified by 3/4 of said legislatures, to be valid to all intents and purposes, as part of the said Constitution, viz. Articles in addition to the amendment of the Constitution of the United States of America, proposed by Congress and ratified by the legislatures of several states pursuant to the 5th article of the original Constitution. The Bill of Rights. The conventions of a number of states, having at the time of adopting the Constitution, expressed a desire, in order to prevent misconstruction or abuse of its powers, at further declaratory and restrictive clauses should be added, that further declaratory and restrictive clauses should be added, and as extending the ground of public confidence in the government will best ensure ends of its institution. Resolved by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America, in Congress assembled 2/3 of both houses concurring, that the following articles be proposed to the legislatures of the several states, the amendments to the Constitution of the United States, or all or any of which articles, when ratified by 3/4 of said legislators, to be valid to all intents and purposes, as part of said Constitution. namely, Amendment 1. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise therefor, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or the right of the people peacefully to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievance. Amendment 2. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Amendment 3. No soldier shall, in time of peace, be quartered in any house, without the consent of the owner, nor in time of war, but in a manner to be prescribed by law. Amendment 4. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched, and the person or things to be seized. Amendment 5. No person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime, unless on presentment or indictment of grand jury, except in cases arising in the land or naval forces, or in the militia, when in actual service in time of war or public danger. Nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be twice in jeopardy of life or limb, nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself, nor deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. Nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. Amendment 6. In all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury of the state and district wherein the crime shall have been committed, which district shall have been previously ascertained by law, and to be informed of the nature and cause of the accusation, to be confronted with the witness against him, to have compulsory process for obtaining witness in his favor, and to have the assistance of counsel for his defense. Amendment 7. In suits at common law, where the value in controversy shall exceed $20, the right of trial by jury shall be preserved, and no fact tried by a jury shall be otherwise re-examined in any court of the United States than according to the rules of the common law. Amendment 8. Excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishment inflicted. Amendment 9. The enunciation in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed or denied or disparaged, others retained by people. Amendment 10. The powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively, or to the people. Additional sources. James Madison proposes the Bill of Rights to the House of Representatives. The Virginia Declaration of Rights drafted by George Mason. And Federalist number 10.